Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Free Training Thursday. I have our Senior Training Specialist, Darren Juby, here with me today, and he will be taking us through the client portal. As always, if you have any questions, please put them in the side panel, and we will get to them at the end if we have time. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Darren, and he can take us through his presentation.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Good afternoon, everyone. And as Amanda said, welcome to this week's Amicus Next Free Training Thursdays webinar. And this week we're going to be focusing on the Amicus Attorney Client Portal. So again, my name is Darren Juby. I'm a senior product trainer here at Amicus Next, and I focus on the Amicus Attorney product line. As always, as she mentioned as well, if anyone has any questions during our session today, please do utilize the questions field here in GoToMeeting, and with time permitting, we will get to answering them towards the end of our session. And if not, please do include your email address, and I'll happily follow up afterwards to provide you with the information that you seek. So now, without further ado, let's begin taking a look at the Amicus Attorney Client Portal. So just a brief agenda of what we're going to be covering today. During today's session, we'll talk about sharing information via the client portal. We'll talk about enabling the client portal, inviting a client to the client portal, checking a client's portal status, resending an invitation to a client, further managing a client's portal access, sharing files and items with our clients via the client portal, viewing a list of the items shared to a client on a file, being appraised of items added to files by clients, and clients using the client portal itself. So as you can see, we've got a lot to cover in our short time frame here today, so let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is sharing information via the client portal. So the Amicus Attorney Client Portal opens up another layer of collaboration with our clients. This feature gives the clients real-time access to select Amicus Matter information through a secure online portal. And that is the most important part of all this. I like to stress the fact that it is a very secure online portal. Firm members who have security permission may grant selected clients access to the portal, to shared files, to shared documents, events, notes, and custom fields on those files. Clients may then log in from their browser whenever they like and view that shared information. They can even upload new documents, add new notes, and fill in and/or edit information in shared custom fields. If documents are Amicus managed at your firm, clients may check out and check in the current version of a shared document that is accessible in the client portal. Those new items will become immediately available to firm members with access to that file. And clients with billing enabled can share, view, and pay their invoices directly from the client portal. Security. I want to briefly touch upon the security of the client portal. So data is transmitted securely via the cloud between the firm's Amicus Attorney server and the client's browser. It is not, and again I want to stress, it is not stored in the cloud or on the computer where their browser is running. These transmissions utilize bank-grade 256-bit encryption. If a client chooses to view a document, it is downloaded to their browser's temporary downloads folder to be opened in its native application, so for example, Word or Adobe Acrobat, and the documents are encrypted during transmission. The client portal utilizes the Microsoft Azure cloud platform. If you would like more security information, please feel free to visit Microsoft's Trust Center, and you can get to that at http://azure.microsoft.com/en-us/support/trust-center. Or if you just do a search for Microsoft Trust Center on Google and stress the Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform, you'll be able to find that information as well. So now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's talk about how to enable the client portal. So first, your firm must have access to Amicus Anywhere, and it must have been set up and enabled prior to enabling the client portal. Once this has been done, an Amicus administrator may enable the client portal via the following steps. Now, before I get to those steps, I just briefly want to touch upon how we could tell if Amicus Anywhere is enabled or not. If we go to user management as an administrator who would only have access to that particular area, you will see there is indeed an Anywhere column here, and you'll see that there is a check mark in the box beside my name. To answer your question, as far as where the information is stored for Canadians, it's no different than if they're in America or anywhere else in the world. It's all, like I stated, nothing is stored in the cloud. It's all on your server. and they are just accessing that information through their browser. And as far as the best area to post information that a client cannot see, well, you control what the client can and cannot see. So that's not really an issue. It's more about you making things available for them to see. If you haven't made it available or shared it through the client portal, they will not see it. I hope that does answer your question. Okay, so moving along here, as you can see, or as I stated, there is the check mark in the Anywhere column, so we know Amicus Anywhere has been enabled for the firm with my administrative user here. So getting that out of the way, let's talk about enabling the client portal itself. So as an administrator, I would log into Amicus Attorney, and I would be in the Office module. I would then navigate to Firm Settings. So here in the Administration section, I would click on Firm Settings. And once I'm in the Firm Settings, you'll see that we do have a Client Portal section here. So under here, I'm going to click on Portal Setup. So now you'll see that there is a checkbox here to enable the client portal. So I will check that off. And I can also confirm that the firm's display name is correct here. So in my case, this is my Amicus Attorney training firm. So I will leave that as is. And if desired, I could also include a firm logo. So I could check this box here, and I could click on the upload button here, as you can see. And I would be taken to a Windows Explorer window here where I could navigate to and select the image that I wanted to use and upload that. And of course, as you see here, the image will be resized to a maximum of 450 by 200 pixels. So probably a good idea if you are going to use an image, I would make the size changes so that it matches that size prior to doing so. That way you know what it looks like before it gets in there. That's just a personal thing. You may or may not want to do that, but that's my recommendation as far as that goes. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. And so once we've completed this, we would click OK to save and apply these changes, and we've now enabled our client portal. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is invite a client to the client portal. So to do so, we would complete the following steps. So let's go over to the People module here. And let's open up one of our contacts. So we'll select Mr. Aloysius XL Pendergast here. I'll open up his contact details. So there you can see there is his People Details dialog. And as well, the first thing we want to do before sending the invitation is confirm that our contact actually has a valid email address on their contact card. In this case, you can see that I do have one here, aloysiusxlpendergast@outlook.com. So near the bottom of the contact details dialog, we will see the portal button, as you can see right here. So if I click on this, like I'm about to right now, it will bring up the client portal dialog, as you can see here. So click on the Allow this contact to access the client portal checkbox, as you can see I'm doing here. And as you can see, we get this prompt here. The client will be given secure online access to view their own file information, including any shared documents, notes, and more. Click Send Invitation so that they can create their account with a strong password. So I'm going to say OK on that. Now as well, any files that the contact has a client classified role upon are listed below, as we can see here. We would select one or more, if there was more files to select, to share with the client. These selections can be changed later if necessary. So as you can see, I've already got that checked off, and I could also use the Select All or Deselect All button here. And just some notes here, files that you don't have access to would be shown here in gray. You can't share them with the client if you don't have access to them, so that meaning you're not an assigned firm member on those files. However, you could do a who's file search to find out who is the responsible lawyer on these files, and they would be able to share them with the client. If any of your documents are user managed at the firm, files that don't have a valid default documents path set will be shown in gray and cannot be shared. Any closed files or restricted files are not listed here and therefore are not shareable. So now that we've covered over that little bit of information here, let's click on the Send Invitation button. This will create an email to our client that opens up in our default email application. This email will contain a link that will allow the client to set up their portal access and log in. And something to note here, the invitation will enable only one person to set up portal access, even if it was sent to multiple people. And the invitation will expire after 1 week. So I'm going to click on Send Invitation here. And I do apologize for any lag that my system is presenting here today. It's been doing that all morning, and I've even rebooted it, so I do apologize. So just to show you here, this is the email that's been generated to send to our client. You'll notice that it just generated the email through my Microsoft Outlook here. So I will now click on the Send button. And you'll see here as well that the Send Invitation button has changed to a Resend Invitation button. So I'm just going to say OK on this now. And then I will save and close on the contact here. We will come back to Amicus Attorney in a moment here, but as you can see, I've already logged into Mr. Pendergast's email account here in the browser. So I just want to show you guys what would happen from the client perspective at this point. So the client has received the invitation email. They would set up their access and log in. So let's go through that process. So here's the email, and here is the link that I was referring to earlier. So we'll click on that link. So when the client clicks on this link provided in the invitation email, they are asked to enter the password they want to use for logging into the client portal. So as you can see here, we're going to say next on here, and here we are to set up the password. You'll notice that it is using the email address of which the invitation was sent to as their login. So let's just create a strong password here. And I will check off that I'm good here, and I will say next. To answer your question, Matthew, the client would know that something has been posted in the portal because if they logged in on the home screen of the portal, and you'll see that when we get there, there'll be information that would present to them anything new, but as well outside of that, the attorney would maybe want to send an email or give them a quick phone call or something and say, hey, I've shared this out to the portal for you. If you want to take a look. You could even send email notifications, something along those lines. But there's not going to be any automatic notifications generated per se from the client portal to the client. They would have to log in to see that information. So as you can see, we created the password and we have sent that out here, or we've set that up, and here's the home screen. So as you can see, it's showing me my files, it's showing me the bill that I have on the file, and so forth. If I had any documents, they would be showing up here, and same with notes, as you can see here. And as well, upon completion, the client will receive a confirmation email with their login credentials. So let's just quickly bounce back over to here. And as you can see, there is that confirmation. Okay, and you'll notice it is not actually listing the password, it's saying the one that we just created. And as well, you'll see that here in my email, as the attorney, you do have to have the billing module to have invoices show up in bills, yes. And Terry, to answer your question, do documents that are linked in Amicus, if your documents are linked in Amicus, then they should be accessible through the client portal. I've not been told that having them on a separate document server would be an issue. I'd have to look into that a little further. I'll admit that's not a question I've had posed to me. I would say that if they were on a different server, it wouldn't work from an indexing purpose. But as far as making them available, I don't think that should be an issue, because even if we're using user managed, so the documents could be in multiple locations, they're still accessible if they're shared out through the client portal. So again, I don't think having your documents themselves on a separate server would have an issue as far as the client portal goes. And just to show you guys, there is the email that I, as the attorney that asked this client to join the client portal, will have received once they have done so. And of course, subsequently, let me just point out that if the client needs to access Amicus Anywhere, or the client portal, I should say, moving forward, they would do so using the following URL. And let me just put it in here for us. I'm going to just log out here quickly. And let me just go to the URL here. So you'll see that I had it saved in here for myself as a bookmark, but there is the URL right there. It's www.amicusanywhere.com/portal. And you'll notice that it is a secure site. It has the HTTPS. And I'll just log back in there, because we'll come back to here in a little bit. So, checking a client's portal status. A client's access status can be checked from several places within Amicus Attorney. We can check from the client details, or the contact details, I should say. So in our contact details, let's open up a contact. The files view indicates which of their files a client has been granted portal access to, as you can see here via the accessible via portal column. In the lower left, the portal button in the contact details also indicates whether access has been granted to them. So as you can see right now, it's green with a check mark in it. So I know, looking at that right away, that this contact has been granted access. Let's take a look at one of our other contacts just so you can see the difference. I'll open up Mr. Costanza here. And as you can see, the portal is anything but a green check mark icon here. It's actually more of a, it actually reminds me of a no smoking sign, so it's no portal, essentially. So let's just quickly close that and back out to our contact details here. And clicking on the portal button in the contact details, like so, we'll open up the client portal dialog, and it will indicate here which of the files a client has been granted portal access to, and it's also showing us when they last logged in, as you can see here. So there's the file, there's the check mark for portal access. If we had multiple files for this client, they would all be listed here, and as well, it's showing us our last login. Now, I can also check this from the file details. So let me go over to the files module here, and I will open up the Pendergast Estate 891 Riverside Drive file here. So as you can see here, if I just move my file details dialog over a little bit here to make sure you guys can all see it, there's the portal icon there, and again, you'll notice green with the check mark. And if I click on it, again, it's showing me this time, client portal dialog will show me the contact itself and accessible via portal. Now as well, if I select the client here in the list of contacts on the file, you will notice that this client has portal access to the file. And just to go back here very quickly, as you can see, there is that contact again. And if I needed to resend the invitation, or whatever the case may be, if I wanted to remove their access from the client portal, very easily, I can simply double click on the contact there. And as you can see, it opens up the client portal dialog for the contact instead of the file. So I'll just cancel on that. And here again is our client portal dialog for the file. I will cancel out of that as well. And one other place we can access and view this sort of data is from user management. So let me go to the Office module. And of course, like I've stated before in many of the webinars that I've done, and in this one as well, only our administrators have access to user management. So that'll be here in the administration section. But if I'm an Amicus administrator, I can come here to user management, and I can filter the list, as you're about to see here, By selecting from the Access class dropdown, I will select Client Portal Access. And as you can see, the list changes and is filtered to show me a list of contacts that we have granted Client Portal Access to. Their acceptance or completed setup status is indicated here as well, as you can see. There's the invited column, there's the accepted column, there's their login status, which is correct because we are technically still logged into the client portal, as you can see here, as Mr. Pendergast. And there's a deny access checkbox as well. So if I wanted to very quickly and easily deny access, I could simply come in here and check that box to do so. And of course, if I needed to resend an invitation, like I said before, for whatever the case may be, I could very easily do so from either the file or the people details, as we've seen. So I'll just go to the contact here again. And a reason for this could be that the client's invitation expired. So like we said earlier, it lasts a week. If within that week they didn't go through the process that we just did of creating that password and logging in the first time, then that invitation link has expired and we would need to send them a new one. Or perhaps it was in their junk folder and they emptied out their junk folder without realizing it and therefore have lost that email. Whatever the case may be, I can very easily come back in here to the contact itself, open up the contact details, click on the portal button here, and there's the file there, sorry. Let me actually open up the contact. My apologies, folks. Very easily, though, I could go here. And if I say OK on there, there's the contact. And I would normally have a resend invitation option there. But in this case, the client has accepted the invitation, so I don't have that button available to me there. Now, further managing a client's portal access. So if necessary, we can change a client's login name to incorporate a different primary address or disable their portal access. So if the client's primary email address is changed later, very easy to do so. The client's current portal login name is shown at the bottom of their contact edit dialog. So let's open that up again. Let's go to there. So as you can see right there, this is the primary email address to which that invitation was sent. So if we changed the client's primary email address in their contact details, so if I went in here and select edit, for instance, added another email address here and notched it as the primary, then it will not affect their existing client portal login credentials. They may continue using their old login name. However, if the client wants to use a new login name that incorporates their new primary address, we would have to complete the following steps. We would click the portal button in the client's contact details. So we would click here, note which of their files are shared, and then clear the allow checkbox and click save. So we would basically remove the checkmark from here and click OK. That will remove their portal account. Then we would click the portal button again, and we would go through the same process. We would reselect the allow checkbox, we'd reselect the files to be shared, and then we would click on send invitation again, and that would send to that new primary email address. So as you can see, we'd have to go through the invitation process all over again, essentially. Now, if I wanted to remove a client's portal account, if my firm has concluded all business with a client and no longer wants to provide client portal access to them, we would simply click on the portal button like so. And in the client portal dialog, we would clear this allow checkbox. So remove the checkmark, click OK, and that would be it. That client no longer has access to the client portal. And as well, I mentioned this earlier, but we could temporarily deny access by simply having our administrator go into user management, We're already on the client portal access here, and all they would have to do is check that box to deny access. Just a couple quick questions I see here. Could we set up an automatic reminder if the client has not logged in a period of time, say every 2 months? There is no automatic reminders that are tied to the login itself, but we could run reports in Amicus Attorney that would show us client portal access. And then you would maybe go based upon that and perhaps send something out. But that would be a good suggestion to add through the feedback feature here in Amicus Attorney. So I would definitely recommend doing so, and that'll be something our product manager for Amicus Attorney does indeed see, and the more people that upvote that particular suggestion, the more attention it's going to receive, and I do think that's a great suggestion, so I highly suggest putting that in. And as well, very quickly here, not sure if this was answered, can clients view the main note or note section? Yes, they can view notes on the file when they're given access through the client portal. So very quick, I do notice that our time is running low here, so I do want to do a very quick demonstration for you guys of some of the stuff that can happen on the client portal. For instance, as far as a customer actually paying a bill, for instance. Now, I know we did one of these webinars earlier back in June, late June, and I went through sharing files and sharing and so forth. We've kind of gone through the sharing of the files and so forth as well already here. But what I want to show you guys is one of the newer features that came out with the most recent update, and that's the ability for our clients using APX or Abacus Payment Exchange along with the client portal to have our clients show their invoice. We can show our invoices in the client portal, and we can actually have our clients make payments. So let me first show you very quickly how to share an invoice. So I'll go to my files here, open up that particular file. And so you'll see here, we're going through that same process of allowing access to the client portal. We would send the invitation, say okay, okay. Let's go to bills here. And what I want to show you is, for instance, if we had some bills on the file. So I'm going to select one of them. Actually, let's select all three. I'm going to click the portal button here. And you'll see I'm about to check this box off here, visible to clients on the file who have portal access. I will say okay on that. And let's save and close. So now, let's go through what a client would see. So there's the email, of course, that they had seen. So we'll click there. And again, we'll go through that process of clicking next. We'll set our password in there. Check I'm good. Click next. And let's log into the client portal. So as you can see right now, there it's telling us that we have 3 bills. So I could go there. I can select one of these bills. And I can view the bill, as you can see. I can view the history, as you can see. I can view any payments that have already been made. And using Abacus Payment Exchange along with the client portal, this is something I didn't have the opportunity to demonstrate the last time we did one of these client portal webinars, so that's why I've focused more on it this time. So I do apologize for anybody for missing out on documents, notes, or events this time around. But watch what happens when I click Pay Now. So here's the payment window. I can decide which account I can put in an amount. So instead of the full $125, let's just pay $1. And I'm going to click Submit. You'll notice that I do have the options to change my payment method. In this case, we're going to use the American Express card that's already linked to this particular contact. They've paid before. That information was added earlier. Let's click Submit, and there's our payment. I could print it out, or I could close. So that's how easy it was for our client to make a payment utilizing the client portal along with Abacus Payment Exchange, or APX. So let's look at the view payments now, and there you'll see that there's that additional payment that we just made right there. And you'll notice in brackets it's showing that it's an APX payment as well. So I just, like I said, briefly wanted to show that. And as well, let me show you over here. If I go to my files, there's my file there that is shared out. And for instance, if I had some documents on this file, so let's take a look at the documents very quickly here. See if I've got any that I can share out, because as it stands right now, it's not showing me any documents. So let's see here. So there's one document. Let's see. Let's make that accessible via the portal. So Terry, to answer your question, we can control, if we had multiple documents on a file, we can control which ones the client can see. So this one I'm going to give them access to. We'll say OK on that. And let's just open up one of the other documents so you can see that that change has not affected the rest. You'll see that that one's not shared. So let me just go back quickly to the client portal, and let's do a refresh. And so as you can see, now it shows that they only have that one document. And as well, Hector, to answer your question, can the client see only select files and select notes instead of seeing all files and notes? That is correct. As you saw, I mean, my example only had the one file, but if we had multiple files for that contact, we would check the box for each one that we wanted to be able to share with them. So let me just very quickly go back to that. If we go to the portal here, you would see there is the contact. If I double click on them, it's going to show us the files. So if we had multiple files for this particular contact, then they would be listed here, and I would put a check mark in each box for the file I want them to be able to see. And then much like I just showed you with the document, we control what they see on the file. Now, I want to show you guys one other thing. I showed you guys how to share bills in that quick little demonstration we did earlier. But as well, if I go to the admin section and go to billing info, sorry, my apologies. Let me go to billing. So if I'm on the billing side, if I go to the admin section of the file and I go to bill settings, my apologies for not getting to the right place initially, you will see there is an option here to check to share new bills with clients. So rather than having to go through and select the bills like we did earlier over here, when I went here and selected each bill and clicked on portal button, I could simply go here, check that option off like I've done here, and any new bills I create for this client moving forward will be automatically shared for me to the client portal for them. Now, I'm looking at our time, and we are definitely running low here, so I do apologize for not getting to the rest of the stuff that we had taken a look at in the previous webinar, but I really wanted to show you guys the new feature of being able to make a payment and so forth using the client portal combined with APX, Amicus Payment Exchange. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very quick overview of the Amicus Attorney Client Portal and just some of the things that it can do for you and your clients. If there are any additional questions, by all means, please do input them now, and I'll try to get them. We'll see if we can add just a couple more moments here and answer any additional questions if you guys have them. If you do not have the billing module, then the bill icon would not show up, no. You do there is an Amicus client portal for Amicus Online as well, but for Amicus Premium Edition, that it used to be called, or now in the later version is now simply Amicus Attorney, you do have to have Amicus Anywhere to have client portal capabilities. Whereas in Amicus Online, obviously, Amicus Anywhere is not part of that equation, so that it's a little bit different in that regard. The client portal is simply part of Amicus Online, and again, in Amicus Attorney, it's there for you if you have the Amicus Anywhere access added to your license as well. Yes, in regards to your question, are all document types visible in the documents? Yes, any Word, Excel, PDF, and so forth. And when the client is looking at them through the client portal, it's going to give them the option to download and open that document in its respective native application. So for instance, if it was a PDF, it would look for Adobe Acrobat on their system. If it's not there, it may let them open up with Word, because I mean, you can open up PDFs in Word. But of course, it's obviously going to always look for Adobe Acrobat first, and it would be the same if it was a doc file or a docx file, which would be one of the two native types of Microsoft Word documents. Therefore, it would know to look for Word and try to find that and open it on your system after you've downloaded that document. And as we stated earlier, it opens it to the temporary downloads, or downloads it and opens it from the temporary downloads folder for your browser. RTF files, as long as you've got Word set up on your system, that shouldn't be an issue. Usually rich text files will open in Microsoft Word without any issue. So I do apologize for not having any more time to field any more questions at this point, folks, but I do want to wrap things up before it gets too late here. And again, for any of the stuff that we missed in this particular client portal webinar, because we tried to focus on the ability to pay bills through the client portal that's been added now, please do revisit my previous client portal presentation. There was a webinar back in late June. If you go to the webinar section of our website, you guys would be able to view it from there as well. You're quite welcome, Hector. I hope I was able to answer everybody's questions as well, and I invite you all to have a wonderful rest of the day today, an even better rest of the week, and a fantastic weekend to come. Thank you very much, everybody.